It feels like I've made this exact video a dozen times already. The bullshit never ends. But this video is about a guitar company that you might have seen online at some point throughout the past 2 or 3 years. Badstroke guitars. Badstroke is a guitar company from the Czech Republic that offers quote-unquote high-end guitars at affordable prices. An oxymoron, and as it turns out, also a scam, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Around 2020, when everybody was locked in their homes and addicted to ordering shit online to make up for lost lifetime, the founder of Badstroke Guitars came up with the entirely false concept that nobody had any money, and he therefore needed to introduce an affordable high-end custom shop into the world. The man's name is Ondřej Bubik, and while I'm pretty sure that that's how that's pronounced, I know I'm gonna get roasted by Czech viewers in the comments, so I'm gonna call him Ondřej for this video, but just know that I tried. This idea was contrary to the experience of every company on the planet that was currently experiencing peak sales because nobody was spending their money to go out and do social things anymore, so they had some extra disposable income, but at its core, this was still a respectable idea. And so Badstroke began offering 2 tiers of custom guitars: a full custom, which would run you about $2,000, and the semi-custom Fiend series, which start as low as $1,200 to $1,300. And the way that they do this is by making them with in-house pickups and a tightly preset catalog of options, so you can't just have whatever you want. Semi-customs like this aren't really an insane concept. Matter of fact, Aviator Guitars, the company that put me onto this topic in the first place, actually does the same thing with their Pilot series. But as you can see, I'm holding one of those, and so is every paying customer of theirs. So that's where they've got a leg up over Badstroke. Because, as is the case with every other company that I've made a video like this about, what sounded too good to be true absolutely was, and a bunch of people ended up getting burned and losing their money. And seeing as we're coming up on the 5-year anniversary of some of those unfulfilled orders, I thought I would have a chat with 2 of the guys who had ordered one and go over their experience and the experience of an ex-employee in just a second. The only reason anybody knows Badstroke at all is because they were super on top of influencer marketing. They were sending one out to every guitar player who was hot on Instagram or YouTube at the time. Manuel Gardner Fernandez, Ville Tikkanen, Music is Win, hence the title of this video. Those marketing campaigns got a lot of eyes on the brand, and I know for a fact they generated a lot of sales for them. If only any of those had actually been fulfilled, we wouldn't be here right now. So now for those buyers I spoke to. I recorded my conversation with one of them. The other recording somehow ended up with no audio, but I do have a bunch of screenshot receipts. So these 2 guys, whom I won't name for privacy reasons, were in a band together and both ordered their Badstroke guitars on the same day in July of 2021. Their orders were part of batch 2 of the more budget-friendly Fiend series, and after they'd each paid somewhere around $1,500 for their guitars in full, began the bullshit. 6 or 8 or 12 months between email replies, no progress pictures, requesting a refund and it being declined, but for one of the 2, the guitar actually ended up showing up at his door unexpectedly in August of 2024. So he was one of the lucky ones, if you will, to actually receive his guitar and only have to wait a little over 3 years for it. The other guy, though...
Right, so that's what's funny is I ordered ours on the same day, and got his over a year ago. I did go for a little more of the custom options because I'm a diva. One of the selling points that Badstroke did when they were doing these batch runs was that they had some kind of special deal with bare knuckle. So June 2nd is when I placed the order in 2021. And this is 2021, so it's not like 2019 we ordered it and then suddenly COVID shut everything. Like this was a post awareness of COVID world, and I think this did happen like right around like the second big shutdown. I don't believe I'll ever get this guitar. A little over 3 years ago now is when I did straight up just request the refund, but I was just like, don't even send it to me. Just like I said, they were refusing that because, you know, he had already invested all that money into the next batch of orders he wasn't going to finish.
Now this is a tale as old as time. Some might say that my channel is built on it. But if nothing is being built, and the stuff that is being built isn't being delivered, then how are people like Music is Win and various Instagram guitarists getting theirs? Well, that's pretty simple, really. The odds are pretty decent that those are fully paid for customer guitars. So each time that you saw somebody playing one on their social media that was comped, there's a decent chance that some poor bozo out there had paid for it in full. And everybody's favorite completely unbiased guitar YouTuber Music is Win does make this sound a little different in his video about Badstroke.
Andre reached out with noble intentions. They wanted to build me a signature guitar. Nothing ever transpired.
Until almost 4 years later, I was like, oh, I recognize that name. It's Andre.
He's apologizing for not giving me a free guitar. So automatically I know Andre's a great guy. Apparently they lost all the money that they raised for an Indiegogo campaign to finance the guitars that they were going to be building for me and everybody. So they prioritized their customers' orders first.
Ah yes, prioritizing customer orders. That's what that looks like. And mind you, this video was from July 2024, so at that point some customers had already been waiting for their guitar for upwards of 3 years. And notice how while unboxing it, Tyler says that he doesn't actually know what color it's gonna be.
Wait, what is that? Is that red?
Yeah, there's a decent chance that that's because he didn't spec it out after all, but instead what ended up in his hands was something a customer requested, paid for in full, and is now twiddling their thumbs waiting for Andre to come up with another excuse.
Every time he does pop his head out, it's something new, so it makes it hard to believe any of it. It's just like, okay, now your knee exploded and you're in surgery for 6 months. It's like, how does this all happen to you?
I'm of course not blaming Tyler for this, he only knows what the guy told him, but it is still pretty hilarious that this video got so much positive reception for such a blatant lie. The thing that Andre said about being ripped off during their Indiegogo campaign is by all accounts correct. The Fiend series was originally meant to be funded through Kickstarter, but Kickstarter at the time wasn't working with people from the Czech Republic, and so they ended up going with Indiegogo through sort of a third-party broker. And that guy ended up running off with the money from the campaign. Now, I do have sympathy for that, and that will set you back a little bit in the development of your company, but it won't stop you from fulfilling fully paid for orders for over 5 years. Some companies do get into a position sometimes where they just need to take a step back, stop taking on new orders, and just restructure a little bit. Not to bring up Aviator Guitars too much in this video, but for example, as of recording this, their website looks like this. Selling off what they have left in stock, but not taking on any new custom orders while they're restructuring, because that is what you do when you know that you're not going to be able to deliver on something. I should also mention that Andre was on board with Aviator Guitars for the first couple of weeks of that company existing. They built about 3 or 4 guitars together and then he left. He is a carpenter by trade, so I suppose that gives you a leg up in guitar building. He is, however, not a guitar player, he is a drummer. Just a little tidbit about the guy. But what do all of the companies that I've made videos about have in common? Vic, Cerberus, Badstroke? That's right. I could go on their website right now and order 15 guitars if I wanted to, because there is no intention of ever fulfilling the backed up orders or to refund them. The one lad that I spoke to earlier actually getting his after 4 years is an insane stroke of luck, a bad stroke of luck if you will, but not the norm. Matter of fact, Andre runs a publicly accessible Google Doc for people in the Facebook group that I haven't been able to get into, not even with a burner account, that contains the status of a bunch of outstanding orders, some of which have been listed as completed for years now. And as usual, there is always an excuse for everything. If you were to take everything Andre has ever said at face value, then he's been through about 3 knee surgeries, COVID has him knocked out for months at a time on a regular basis, and he has been robbed of all of his company's capital. The people in the Badstroke Guitars Facebook group, some of whom have also been waiting for their orders for years now, are very, very aware of the bullshit, and by all accounts, all they do in there is complain about it. Like I said a second ago, for these videos I will usually try and get into the appropriate Facebook groups using a burner account, except this was the first time ever that my spy account was not accepted into it. I don't know why that is, I don't know if the group is actually official and run by Andre, but either way, I did know somebody who was in it. And the posts in there are looking grim. Anyone else hoping for a Christmas miracle? Good luck. Messages sent are being read, no reply whatsoever. Great customer service. Is anyone receiving updates? I was quoted the end of 2021. Them taking on more orders while I was already years behind on mine seemed weird. Can any of you guys get a response at all? I was quoted a year 4 years ago and I can't get an email response. It's been 4 years already, so I really hope they ship it soon. Does Badstroke still exist? Another interesting thing was that in spite of these being budget custom shop guitars, you did have the option to pay extra to get some bare knuckle pickups put in there, which is a hilarious jump from a $1,300 custom guitar, since a set of bare knuckles can go for $500 these days. And after taking in infinite orders that he was never going to complete and having them paid for in full, Andre began offering refunds on just the bare knuckle upcharge just to appease some of the customers. And a bunch of customers asked for that refund, only to then also never get it. Extremely strange thing to say you're going to do if you're also just not going to do it. You could have just said nothing like you had been for years at that point.
When I asked for a refund, he said he can't refund me, but like he could help sell the guitar and send me the money, like post it on like the website or on the Facebook group for someone to purchase. And I was just like, I would not do that, no.
The brand's social media is also entirely deserted and has been since late 2024. And I was wondering why this is, because you would think it would be in their interest to draw in more customers to scam, right? But A, in order to keep posting on social media, you would need to keep building more guitars, which is the exact issue. And B, a guy who used to work for Badstroke, along with his wife who ran their social media, both quit around the time of that last post, and there just hasn't been anything on there since then, and also he still owes them a bunch of money.
And it was a lot of work. So I just quit my job and go with Andre to full on workshop. We decide or some money. We just shake our hands for it. No papers, nothing. It was like, you're my friend, I'm your friend. Let's shake on this. Someday he just not deliver it. It was like delays. He promised to pay something and he did not. If you are self-employed, you have to pay social and health insurance. If you're self-employed, you have to pay this. He was giving me very small money, and we shake hands, or Andre will pay those insurances for me and giving me small money, and I will be okay, because the other option was giving me normal money and I will pay it for myself. And after 1 year, it just hits me like, you don't pay insurance at all. We shake on more money, and I started to pay those insurances, but I have the debt, and Andre was not giving me those money. It was like building the debt with me.
I can't include too much of my conversation with this nice man in the video because I was asked not to, but there are a few fun tidbits in there. There is a room full of completed guitars boxed up at Badstroke HQ that have been finished for years, and Andre isn't shipping them because he doesn't want to, I guess? That might be the worst scam I have ever heard of, and I know for a fact that this is true and that they were finished because the nice man on the other end of that Zoom call remembered everybody's specs when I said their names to him. And I also have it on good authority that Andre is sitting on a bunch of Bitcoin money, as well as a bunch more cash from selling a deceased family member's house, so I really don't think that he's doing this to rip people off for a couple of bucks.
Was like building the debt with me. At the same time, he just buying those machines for Bitcoin, like those farms.
Now, I've been adding to this script on and off for a couple of weeks now. So at the time that I spoke to the customer that you heard earlier, he hadn't gotten a word out of Andre for a long time, so I left it like that in the video. I then reached out to a few former business associates, one who you just heard speak to me earlier, and another who said that he didn't want to be on the record bad-mouthing a former associate. That is totally fine. I didn't keep pushing. I just said, okay, cool. Except a day or two after that, the man who had been hoping to receive a refund or his guitar for the better part of 5 years reached out to me saying he just got a tracking number for his guitar. That is suspicious. I know it had already been built, but why would he ship it out right after a former associate of his says that he doesn't want to speak to me about his experience at the company? So what I have to assume happened here is that guy blabbed about it, and Andre has been wise to this whole thing for a few days now, and is trying to do as much damage control as possible before it even comes out. However, I can still go on the Badstroke website right now and order one. This is not a screenshot, this is the website. I can still order a Fiend, I can order a full custom, whatever. It's also worth noting that the customer's guitar hasn't arrived yet. It's currently stuck in customs because for some reason Andre faked the invoice even though there was a real payment made years ago, but it is getting there. I intentionally put this video off for like another 10 days to see if the guitar did arrive. It's been 2 weeks since I got that message now, no guitar yet, womp womp, who could have guessed? So I reached out to Andre, as every journalist should before making a piece like this to get every side of the story, and my email reads as follows. Hello Andre, my name is Kalen, I run the YouTube channel Six String TV. I'm currently working on a journalistic piece examining customer experiences and business practices related to Badstroke guitars. In this process, I've come across a number of customer accounts describing extended delays, poor communication, and unfulfilled orders over a period of several years. To ensure that any coverage is fair, accurate, and includes your perspective, I'd like to offer you the opportunity to comment on these matters, clarify any misunderstandings, and provide context regarding your current operations, order fulfillment process, and communication with customers. Please treat this request as time sensitive. I require your response promptly in order to include your position before publication. And I knew Andre was going to see this email because just a few days ago, somebody emailed him pretending to be interested in a custom guitar. And he got a reply from Andre within 18 minutes. And he is famously on top of his emails like that. So if I don't get anything back within 24 hours... Oh, yep, took 37 minutes. Hello Kalen, I would be happy to answer your questions. This was 2 in the morning in the Czech Republic and I got a response within half an hour. I replied back immediately as well, saying that I don't really have any specific questions, I just want some clarification about the complete lack of customer communication, delivery, or build updates. And as of recording this, it has now been 52 hours since sending that email, so I'm calling this one a wash. And as of editing this video, it's been upwards of 260 hours without a response, so yeah. Hello, Kalen from a couple days in the future here. One thing that I felt was missing from the rest of this video was actually having a Badstroke guitar on hand. I don't always feel this to be necessary when I make videos about a guitar company, but there were plenty of comments about the very okay-ish quality of Badstroke guitars, and so I felt it would be appropriate to try and get my hands on one. Turns out that wasn't particularly difficult. I'm not going to tell you who sent this to me. I'm sure Andre is going to remember when he sees this because he didn't send out that many, I'm sure he remembers. But this right here is a Badstroke Fiend series guitar, and by golly, does this thing look cool and play like an absolute Epiphone. In the 2 days since I've gotten my hands on this thing, I've described it to everybody as a prog metal Epiphone. It looks divisive, not everybody's gonna love this aesthetic. I kind of think it looks cool, and it plays like a $900 guitar. There's nothing immediately wrong with it from a distance, or really up close. There is some slightly shoddy workmanship, it is rough around the edges, but I've seen Badstroke guitars online that had insane string spacing differences. This doesn't have any of that. What it does have is detail work that is, let's call it inspired by his time at Aviator Guitars. If you've ever held an Aviator, you know what I'm talking about. But there are just spots like where the string ferrules are, where it is very rough around the edges, or these carved out contours, which I'm sure look fine on camera now, and they are totally alright, but it is just very rough and there's not a lot of attention to detail on it. And considering this was probably $1,300 to $1,500, and this would have been €1,600 at the time that I got it, and this basic spec Kiesel Kyber headless goes for $1,600. This is a ridiculous instrument for the price. I cannot help but laugh. The factory pickups are okay. But Jesus Christ, man. If I had waited 5 years to receive this, I would be livid. There's not even like branded tuners on it. It has Badstroke in-house tuners, in-house pickups for... Nah, man. The only genuine, like, really great positive about this guitar that I can think of after having played it for 2 days is that Andre has caught on to the fact that for a coil split, push-push is much nicer than a push-pull pod. Not much of an accomplishment, really. There you go. That's much more appropriate. So to sum this video up, I am watching you, refund your customers, and to the rest of you guys, don't buy Badstroke guitars. Just one quick thing before I go, by the way. I was at a sold-out arena concert last week, and today's sponsor, Hears, absolutely saved my ears at that show. I'm not going to bore you with details about how loud noises are bad for your ears. I'm pretty sure you're all adults and have figured that out. But these earplugs offer 13 to 20 decibels of attenuation, and the filters in there basically act like a second eardrum, so they're perfect for scenarios where you want the clarity of hearing the beautiful soundstage of a well-orchestrated concert, but you don't want the China cymbal digging holes into your eardrum. A portion of every sale of these is also contributed to the Hearing Health Foundation to help fund research to cure hearing loss, and you can get 10% off of yours through my link in the description and pinned comment. You can also get a little keychain thing for it, and I like the dark green ones. Goodbye. Thank all of you guys for watching. Thank you to Hears for sponsoring this video and allowing me to, make some money off of these videos, even if I need to spend days researching for them. And I'll see you around.